The chair has detected a quorum. This year we have a much smaller committee, and so we will hopefully all be on time and ready to go as needed. First, I wanted to, well, since we're not all here, I'll save these for other members, but pass out a copy of our rules. I know you have that memorized already. A few things this year. We will be having a meeting in October. I'm working out the date with Rosie now, where we're going to look at a few of the rules, even though there is only 11 months left. Verify if there are any changes that we want to make, but more importantly, I expect this committee to put together a list of what is and is not an emergency. For example, a developer needing to get their financing together, but their planning, zoning, what have you, did not get filed timely, or they need to move faster in the process. I don't think that that causes an emergency for the council. It's not an emergency for everyday people. It should not be an emergency for the council be taking up. I think, but contrary to that, like on that same coin, I guess, we do frequently have grant filings that need a rule suspension. I think that is reasonable when the Department of Family and Safety come before us, right? So I want us to think about those and discuss them in October, so just go ahead and start formulating what could be some of those questions that we've asked in the past, and moving forward, what is a ridiculous request for a rule suspension that we've granted in the past that we are not going to continue to grant. So with that, I've got a consent agenda, and then we'll move on to you all that are here stuck listening to us. So item number, our agenda is not numbered, so that will be changing in the future. So the first item is RS 2022-1684 by Hall. That's going to be withdrawn on consent. The second item is RS 2022-1736 by myself, notaries. It's on consent to be approved. RS 2022-1758 is on consent. I'll read the captions afterwards. I'm sorry, I left out that I'll be running this the same way that I ran planning, so Councilman Rutherford is up on my style.
Fully recognize that.
RS 2022-1759 is going to be on consent, so is 1760, 1761, 1762, 1763, 1764. Is there anything that needs to come off of that consent agenda? All right, now it's story time. So RS 2022-1684 by Councilman Hall supports District 1, the Bordeaux community and its residents, and condemns any future environmentally unsound infrastructure development and services in the district that has been withdrawn by the council member. RS 2022-1736 by myself approves the elections of certain notary publics for Davidson County. 1758 by Benedict and others recognizes Ricky Rooker for his service as Davidson County Circuit Court Clerk. I do recommend that everybody go ahead and email the clerk to sign on to that. We will be doing a presentation. So recognizes Ricky Rooker for his service as Davidson County Circuit Court Clerk. RS 2022-1759, Nash and others celebrates Joyce Searcy upon her retirement after 51 years of service as an employee of Metro government. On consent to be approved. 2022-1760, Gamble and others honors Brenda Gilmore's retirement from the Tennessee State Legislature. We are withdrawing that. We had a few things that need to be tweaked in it, and so rather than amend it, we will just withdraw and start over. RS 2022-17, and that's another one that will be presented, so when it comes back, please sign on. 1761, Syracuse and others recognizes legendary country performing artist and songwriter Jeannie Seely on her 55th anniversary as a member of the Grand Ole Opry. On consent to be approved. RS 2022-1762 by Hurt recognizes Fisk University on launching the first ever historically black colleges and universities intercollegiate women's artistic gymnastics team. Council Lady Hurt is not with us, but we will let her know we expect a performance when that comes up on the floor. By Council Lady Hurt. RS 2022-1763 by Stiles and others honors the 100th anniversary of the United Way of Greater Nashville. RS 2022-1760 by Bradford and others, recognizes the 100th and 25th anniversary of the Parthenon. Those are all on consent to be approved unless noted otherwise. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? With that, we will move those all pass or are withdrawn as noted, and we move on to elections and confirmations. First, we'll start with Mr. Garrett. If you'd like to come on up.
Come forward.
Please, so what we used to do, and it's gotten dropped off, is please bring a chair up and kind of sit up here with us. It's the hot seat, if you would. And so it is RS 2022-239. That's hard to believe. We've done 239 appointments this year. So, Metropolitan, what did we start calling this? CATV?
CATV Special Committee, yes.
All right, so you are a reappointment, and it is a term expiring March 1st, 2025. Are you still a Davidson County resident?
I am, yes.
Registered to vote?
I am,
And do you
yes.
serve on any other boards and commissions in Davidson County?
No, ma'am.
That are Metro. You can serve on
No,
other
yeah,
things.
I mean, I serve on
Yes.
other, but
Yeah.
no Metro.
Yeah. Perfect. Tell us why you'd like to be reappointed.
The mayor asked me to.
Tell us what you've enjoyed on the committee, maybe is a better question.
No, that's a great question. I've been on the CATV Special Committee for quite a number of years, and we're about to go through the next recontracting with Comcast. And I've been through, I think, 2 iterations of at least one I know, and perhaps 2. So they have asked me to be there for my experience with the reappointment or the renegotiation process.
So if we don't reappoint you, you're saying that Comcast could just steamroll us into a bad
I
deal?
would hope not. Anyway, there are plenty of other good committee members, but yeah, that's why I've been asked, and I'm willing to do it and happy to be a part of it.
Do you think this contract gives us any leverage to get our constituents better service in Nashville?
Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of leverage just because of the way the law is. Comcast has the opportunity to do what AT&T has done, unfortunately. I don't think they'll go that path. I think they'll still try to renegotiate with us, which gives us some helpful franchise fees and some stuff to support NECAT and all that.
Great. NECAT is important. Councilor Hancock. Questions for the appointee?
I don't have any additional questions.
Councilman Rutherford.
No additional questions.
Rosenberg. Would you like to make a motion?
Yes, move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any opposing? Thank you, and please get that done well.
Well, we'll give her our best shot.
All right, moving on. We have two members to the Metropolitan Housing Trust Fund appointment. So Ms. Maria Jackson for a term expiring on September 17th, 2026, and then former councilman Peter Westerholm for a term expiring on September 17th, 2027. So if you'll want to just come on up, and we'll have you both at the same time. And I believe you're both first-time appointments. All right, so both Davidson County residents,
Yes, ma'am.
registered voters. Are you
Yes,
sure?
ma'am.
Are you sure, Peter? No. Do you serve on any other boards and commissions that are Metro?
No.
Great. All right. So with that, this is these are extending terms or longer terms. So tell us why you'd like to serve, Ms. Jackson.
I'd like to serve, and mainly one of my goals is to reach out to my community, my Hispanic community, and because Nashville is growing, and there are more and more people moving into Nashville, and so I think I'm going to be their voice in this commission.
Great. Peter?
I'm very interested in this because I'm a big fan of the Barnes Fund. I was on council in your position when that was created, and I've appreciated seeing it get additional funding over the years, and appreciate the investment in time and resources that so many Metro have put into that. I think that this is an opportunity for me to use some of my background in housing and land use, and trying to understand how we can best apply these dollars to the best projects that have the most meaningful impacts for our community.
Wonderful. Councilman Rosenberg?
Move approval.
Any questions?
Move approval.
Councilor Hancock.
Who are your council members?
Brett Withers.
At mine, in District 22.
Lori Hauser.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Councilor Rutherford.
Where do you see this going, say, in the next 5 to 10 years? What's your vision?
I've been in the construction industry for many years in Nashville. I lived here for 42 years since I moved from New York City and where I went to school. And I'm originally from South America, Peru. And I have seen Nashville grown so fast, especially this past 10 years. And I switched careers a couple times. And when I started working with clients in the Hispanic community, I served at Turk for a number of years, along with lawyers, attorneys, immigration attorneys, and I figured that there's a need for them to communicate exactly what they, and it's just to prevent a disorganized merging of communities. And I figured that that's where I was needed. And then my background in construction has helped me to help in housing. I'm a licensed realtor, and I have worked with many of them in different cultures, and so that's why I feel so assured that this is where I need to be to contribute to my community, not only in Nashville. And Nashville has given me a wonderful family. I raised 3 children, all citizens, productive citizens. They own businesses, they have great careers, so I figured that this is my time to contribute to Nashville.
So my initial thought is ask me again in a year.
Yeah.
As we get deeper into this. But I think that we've seen progress in what the Barnes Fund has been able to achieve, both in scope and in the number of projects where funds from this have been utilized. And I think that one thing I'd like to see over the next 5 years is to figure out how do we increase the number of projects where this is eligible? How do we make more housing units available for more people? How do we better utilize data that's coming along to better inform our decisions and try to promote a holistic approach to housing from a metro perspective?
Thank you.
Councilor Evans, I know you came in a little late, but do you have any questions we are on the Metropolitan Housing Trust Fund appointments? All right. Councilman Rosenberg has made a motion that I have seconded, and so has Councilman Rutherford. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you all both. You are approved by our committee.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you for doing it. That is a long commitment, 5 years, longer than a council commitment.
All right, so we are on the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency Board, which follows quite nicely, I think, with the trust fund. So Bishop Marcus Campbell, come on up to the hot seat. Please bring a hot seat with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are a reappointment, so let's just, the questions. You still live in Davidson County,
Yes, ma'am.
and you're a registered voter.
Yes.
Do you serve on any other metro boards or commissions?
No.
And how many years have you served on this commission?
3.
3. All right, and so you are willing to sign up for another, doing the math, 4 years? 4 years,
Yes, ma'am.
right? 4, yes.
But
I
for
looked
now.
at you to check the math. All right. So, tell us a little bit on why you would like to continue serving on this board.
The 3 years I've been serving has been a great experience for me, learning more about the Metro Development Housing Agency and the things that they're doing to work hard to better Nashville as far as housing for Nashville, and I've really been very enthused about it. And then also being able to work with Dr. Wright under his strategic planning of resident staff and development has been very great learning experience. And then also I'm a resident of Sam Levy. So just to see the work that they're doing and how they're taking care of the residents and their staff and how sensitive they are about the development, I want to make sure that I'm a part of that because I love my community. I'm a Nashvilleian, so I want to make sure that the community plays a big part in it, or how they say so.
I think I remember when we first appointed you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was like, it's coming back to me. Councilman Rutherford, do you have any questions?
No questions.
All right, Council Lady Evans.
I think my only question is actually just based on a earlier experience that we had in budget and finance, because I have an item on the agenda tonight to approve a pilot for a resident or community in my Hermitage area, where basically the long and the short of it is that I started hearing that this was happening in February, where we were gonna try to preserve 100 units, and MDHA was involved, but essentially the timeline got very compressed, where we had information just as part of the council filing process, so really limited consideration for the council to review and ask questions. But there was a long runway kind of between February and it going to the Health Facilities Board and kind of getting to us. And so would you support more communication with the council and, in your role, if it were to ever come to you to look at how to improve kind of the process where we're not getting information really at the last minute?
Yes, as long as it's along my guidelines of being a part of the Board of Commissions for MDHA and I'm not out of line with their rules and regulations, I would.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Council Lady Hancock.
No questions, thank you.
Councilman Rosenberg. Could you make a motion then?
Sure.
Could you do something as vice chair?
Move approval.
Thank you.
Enthusiastically.
And we've got a second. So with that, any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any against, any abstentions? You are on for another term. Thank you. Thank you for your service. All right, so that takes us to the end of this, and I will get an email out to, oh, wait, I'm sorry. We don't even have Council Lady Hurt for our rules change.
I move to defer for,
Defer by rule?
oh yeah.
We'll defer by rule this time and continue our conversation on it next time. And I will get an email out to the committee with the date and kind of updating them with my announcements from the beginning. So if y'all have anything that you would like to see tweaked or changed in this committee, I did not warn you ahead of time that I will be round robining us with appointees and expect you to engage and ask questions and have a conversation. It doesn't always have to be a question, it could be a comment just to interact. I think when people are taking time to come down here to be before us, we need to take the time to have some meaningful conversation and interaction. So with that, any other comments, questions, concerns?
Just remember that the week between council meetings in October is Metro Nashville Public Schools fall break, and at least one council member won't be available if you call the special meeting during that week.
I will keep that in mind, but since not all of us have children, that is also something that I will keep in mind.
2 council members among us.
All right, if the vice chair isn't here, I'll try to schedule appropriately.
Doesn't matter
Thank
if
you,
it's
that's
me,
the
but
end
if
of our
it's
meeting.
Dave, can't live without him.